Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as we stop and we look at some different types of things that you remember in Rockford, Dan, we spent a lot of time about all the businesses uptown, and we'll get to those. But do you all remember the restrooms that were under the street on Market Street?
Yep.
Now, my wife said she would never go down there because she didn't know if she'd come back out again.
They were like a pit.
Yeah, were they really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I used to go down there.
Cement.
Did you? Yeah. You ever go down there, Marlene?
Oh, yeah, I didn't like it down there.
You
I
sort of
remember
slide
going
in
down
and
there.
slide out.
I was always afraid somebody was gonna get
I remember
me.
going down there.
Did you go down there, Brad?
Yeah.
She said she remembered going.
They were pretty, I don't know, did anybody ever clean them?
I think I think they had some town employees that were supposed to clean them. I don't know whether they did or not.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Because there was a guy by the name of John Thompson.
Oh,
And John, he hit the liquor pretty good. You just put a fifth of whiskey down at the far end of the where you want him to dig, and then start him on the other end. By noontime, he'd be down there. He can pick that fifth of whiskey up.
Oh, my goodness.
Have the ditch dug.
I'll be darned. Isn't that something?
I have a question about, well, when I grew up, it wasn't Van Fleet's drugstore. That was pretty much always around, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you guys grew up, and
Oh yeah.
I think I do remember it, maybe about a year, but then they sold to probably Arnold. Gene
Arnold, yeah, and then Tom bought it.
But at that time, that was kind of like a meeting place for high school students,
Yep.
wasn't it?
And she's talked about phosphates. You ever order one today? You never find. I don't know if you can find one.
No.
I was gonna
Everybody drank them, didn't they?
Yeah.
ask Marlene to describe what a phosphate was. 'Cause nobody knows.
Yeah, what is a phosphate, Marlene?
Well,
That was
I don't
like
know.
at the soda fountain, right?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it'd be soda, probably.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I always liked the cherry.
Yeah.
And they would squirt that flavoring. I don't know what they squirted it in.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Well, I think they had that drugstore there, which had those drinks in there, up to the time that Gene Arnold bought the store, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Really?
he made it back into a pharmacy.
Okay.
Right.
A
Okay.
little bit more.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Remember going in there, Jack?
We're in the drugstore? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't think I went until Van Fleet owned it.
Okay.
Well, do you remember when there was a bakery on Main Street where the Eagles is now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of that bakery?
I don't know.
Brandt's Dry Cleaning was right in there.
Yeah, I remember
it was
Brand's. I
named.
remember that.
And
Yeah.
then Ketchum's, and then
Yeah.
Dick Avery had a
Right,
market.
grocery,
Yeah, David's
and the
Market.
bakery.
What was the furniture company's name?
Ketchum,
Ketchum's,
Ketchum and Ripley,
that one?
Ketchum's furniture store.
At the corner down there?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, Ketchum's.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't still there?
Ripley too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ketchum Ripley, yeah. Yeah, a lot of times, you found, people that, embalmed, did that kind of work. Also did, woodworking, happened a lot. Like Wilshire had Buchanan at that time, who was an undertaker and basically a furniture, maker too. So that was very extensive at that time. I mean, it happened, it's prevalent. You served a couple purposes, really. So, and of course, they were in business for a long time down that corner. Sold carpet too.
Mhm.
Remember John laying carpet at our house?
In the locker?
Yeah, the locker was there for a long time. That was part of the
Figley's Cafe. You don't remember Figley's, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Slim?
Yeah.
Slim Figley. Yeah, and I
Probably
thought,
remember too well.
yeah,
Yeah, right. You're supposed to be at school and you're shooting pool.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly right.
Slim and Zella.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Rosella Hohammer. That was her parents, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we used to wash their car every Saturday morning up here at the gas station. That was one job I had.
To wash their car.
Wash their car. And I would sit in that thing, and that steering wheel was just about, I could just reach it like that. I was probably 12 years old. Drove that, and he had a big old car, usually a big old Buick or something.
Uh-huh.
But it took a big car for him and his wife.
Yeah.
And then I was in the clothing store, Wes ordered a coat for him one time. What size do you think it was?
Boy, I don't
It came in sizes 40 or 64.
know.
Size 64.
That's a
64
big
inches around.
coat.
Yeah, that's that many inches around.
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big coat.
Was his nickname Slim?
Slim, yeah.
Yeah, I called him Slim.
Yeah, it was Slim,
They're good people.
yeah. And then on down was a movie theater, right? Do
Yeah.
you remember that movie
Oh, yeah.
theater?
Yep, I've been there a lot.
And how about the one on Market Street? You guys remember that one? Behind,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never
That was
went-
kinda small.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, I was told that, you told me this, I think, Dan, they'd show, silent movies, and there was
Mhm.
two women that played,
Who was the two
Morgan.
women? I told you to call Linda Hart. Didn't
yeah,
I?
and I didn't.
And anyhow, but there was two men. One was Lou Fry, and I can't remember the other one's name. There's two women. They could play piano just all by ear. They never seen them take any music in there. And they would play that for beginning and ending, and maybe excerpts in between. It was just black and white, no sound film.
How about that? Now, you guys remember when they had movies, outdoor movies, like on Saturday
yeah.
night? Or
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Is it Saturday night?
Yeah.
On the elevator, there was Farmer's
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They said the streets would be packed at that time.
They used to have those in Chattanooga too,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chat had them.
because we'd be over there visiting Wendell's.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Well, Wilshire did too, I believe. That must have been common with small towns.
yeah.
That time. Must have been very common. That's kind of interesting that you mentioned that. So,
That, the theater on Main Street, do you have any idea when that would have closed? Late 50s?
Probably.
You're talking about the one that was down, Bob and Clay's office was there eventually, but yeah, right there from the, well, Rob Bella's dad had a welding shop in between the locker and that.
Yeah.
And I'd say late 50s.
That's why I was
Not
thinking,
far off.
because when I was real young, riding my bike, 6, 7 years old, it was already closed down, but, the marquee and all those
Mhm.
big doors, I mean,
Yeah.
you could tell it was a movie theater.
You were talking about Saturday night. Do you guys remember this? The Dancing Man?
Yeah.
Someone had it out. They'd plug it into one of the businesses and turn that on. And people would just stand around and watch
What's that guy?
that guy dance.
Yeah.
we didn't
And
take
then-
much entertainment back
No.
then, did it?
And there might have been a little cup there and they might throw a penny in it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Norman Lane on top of there is a toy that was handmade. Tom Pryor gave that to us.
Oh, I
Oh.
forgot about that.
Take that and swing that around once. That would kind of drive you crazy. wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
giving your kids a drum set.
You wouldn't want
Yeah, no
your,
kidding.
you wouldn't want your kids to have.
Oh, my,
Oh,
no.
no.
No, but it would be okay to give your grandkids one as long as they're not your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, you talked about Figures Cafe. You guys remember them all Callahan's in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where was that located again?
Well, you know where Quonset is at right
Yes,
there right now.
yeah.
First building to the south.
To the south.
Mo Callahan's restaurant.
I see.
She
Okay.
could cuss like a
South
mouse.
of what?
She could really swear.
Small Callahan's
I knew, but who, south, he said it was south of.
of the Quonset there where Riley's.
Quonsets you see now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they
Yeah,
were
where
two, they built
Mike
that.
Brinz's.
Yeah. And Jack, you always talked about, and Dan, you too, setting pins someplace at a
Yeah.
bowling alley.
When I was at-
Bowling alley.
Was King's Restaurant, which was Louis Schweitzer's.
Louis,
Louis,
yeah, Louis'
yes.
place. Yeah, Louis.
Yeah, they had two
The
alleys.
bar, that's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. I used to get a nickel line for setting pins.
Really?
Yeah,
How much did you get? You may have to.
I don't remember
Okay.
what I got.
Okay, we could probably find out who's better here.
I
Yeah.
know
It's got
I
big-
liked it, and because there wasn't nobody bowling, I'd bowl.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Was it loud back in there? It had to be loud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Stood in an empty room.
Was there two alleys?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Used to set
And
pins in there.
Pins that come up,
Yeah.
On spikes. Set those
put
on
the
spikes.
pins on top of them.
Huh.
That's
Good
a,
Lord, now they do it
Automatic. Isn't it?
Automatic, yeah. That's remarkable. That's unreal.
Yeah, you learn how to get out of the pit.
Yeah.
Some of the guys throw 100 miles an hour, you know, and those pins go flying all over the place.
That was the only
You
way I
didn't
would
leave your
bowl.
feet
I
hanging
just
there.
crank it, you know. Didn't care if I got a strike. I just wanted to see how hard I could hit it. But, you know, going down the street, there's a lot of restaurants too. Now, was Temple's Home Plate Restaurant, was that there with you guys?
That's right over where Doug Hull's shop is, the one that didn't burn.
Okay.
On the corner. There's a carryout more lately.
Yes.
Back when I was a kid, there was always guys, they had a big old wood burner in there, and they sold Firestone tires, and they did a little hunting, and there was always stories going on.
Oh.
Loved to go there.
Now, Dan, was
And
you
there'd be
related
about
to,
a half a dozen of guys always there.
was you related to T.W. Hinkle?
Not my cousin, but not really direct.
Because he had lots of stories. He
Yeah.
actually wrote for Field
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stream magazine.
Yeah,
And he's from Rockford.
yeah. He did a lot of hunting.
You know, Rockford's had some pretty famous people. You look at this guy back here, you know, Earl Wilson. And I don't know if you guys ever
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
familiar with him or not.
He stood us up.
He was a friend of my mom and dad's.
Was he
stood
really?
us up. He stood our whole class up. We went on New York City, went on a class trip. We were supposed to meet him at the, what was the name of that restaurant or bar that he was at? I can't remember right now offhand. But anyhow, he was supposed to meet him there. Never showed. He's always called, his article called The Midnight of Earl, if I remember right.
Okay.
Midnight of Earl, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think
So-
that was syndicated nationwide in
Yeah.
a lot,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of papers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right.
It
Yeah.
was big
Reading
time.
about that.
Yeah,
He was here, I don't know if it's when they had the Sesquicentennial parade, if he was
Yeah,
here
I
about
think
that
so.
time.
I think we got a picture
Yeah.
of him right over here, yeah.
Yeah, you might have, do you have one of the books signed by him?
Oh,
Oh, we got several.
I
we
think
read
so.
half a dozen books that he wrote,
But he's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he signed them.
yeah.
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 You just gotta edit some of the parts, right, Norm?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Elsie Kemple said that.
Hmm.
Said, felt like I ought to take a bath after I read your book.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, if we would drive through Rockford and see the sign at the
Yeah.
edge, Rockford's home, or,
Home of Earl Wilson.
home of Earl
Columnist.
Wilson, a columnist,
You're right.
and we always said it was
The communist.
communist.
Yeah.
There's another guy, Paul Hinkle. He's head of West Virginia banking system.
Oh,
is that right?
yeah.
Now, is he about your age, or how?
No.
No?
Not my
I think
age.
I met him
He was a-
once, but
he was a
I
representative
can't
at one time.
remember then even what.
Wasn't he a
Didn't he
representative,
marry a
Rich?
woman from England?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I think Paul might be married out here. I don't know about his wife. What's the name?
I
It's a
don't
different name like Ivana or something. I can't remember. I don't think she's married out here. She was from England, and they got married during World War II, I think, in Germany.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about famous people. I gotta throw in somebody that we can still claim, even though he's from is Jordan Thompson, who became a professional football player.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's ironic that Chattanooga had two professional athletes, Bruno Betzel and Jordan. And you know what? They started exactly 100 years apart.
Really?
That's no
Oh.
joke.
I'll be darned.
And 1914 is when Bruno Betzel started, and 2014 was when Jordan Thompson started. It's so ironic. Yeah,
I'll be
I had
darned.
to throw that in.
Well, Jordan lives in Salina now,
Is he in Salina now? Is he?
right
Oh,
on
is that
Main,
right?
right on
Okay.
Main Street.
Let's see here. What else do we have? I guess you know Ranny's Dairy was on Market Street. Is that right, or Ranny's
Yeah, it was a,
behind the
Yeah.
post office where
it
it's
was
at?
an ice cream place.
Yeah.
It was a dairy. What was the name of that? Randy's? He always delivered milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All over town, he delivered milk.
Oh,
Yeah,
he delivered milk. I worked for him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's another job you had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you took what you could get, didn't you?
Well, we had, I know
called
his
the equity.
business was
It's
down
called the
there.
Equity.
Oh yeah, Equity. That's right.
Yeah.
Equity store.
There it is, right
There's the
there.
picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Equity store.
It was right there on Market, back of what's the post office now.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Right there by the
At
alley.
Equity.
You guys,
Yep, I've eaten ice cream there. Yep,
you remember that, Jack?
right there to the alley. But there was a thing across the alley that was a business, and that one map shows it as a factory, a glove factory. Yeah, I was looking at that map, I think it's the one I've got
Yeah.
down at the office, it might be on that street map.
I'll be darned. It's a glove factory.
It was called, I never remember a glove factory being in there. I
either.
remember Rockford Hardware leased that or had that for a little while. They had mowers and stuff in there.
But a glove factory.
Yeah, but I never knew of any glove factory in Rockford.
Me neither.
Rance Bottom, that's who I was trying
That's
to
what you're trying to
Yeah,
think
Rand
of,
Bottom.
yeah.
He was, I loved him. He was great.
Now, Jack, did you deliver the milk to the homes then, did you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, when I grew up,
Yeah.
you had to set an empty on top of the thing, and then you guys would take that and put a fresh one in. Is that the way it was?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I remember.
Who scrubbed all those, Jack? Did they send them back to the?
I don't know, I
Have
forget
process, they scrub it out.
that, I don't know.
They were Meta
I think he
Gold.
sent them somewhere.
To be cleaned.
Yeah.
Wasn't Meta Gold the name on them?
Yeah,
Meadow
medical, it's
Gold.
right over here,
Yeah.
Yep.
right there.
We got it right
Yeah.
there.
Yep, yeah, that's it, yeah. And I think we even had,
Yeah, there's a can there, see.
yeah, we might have even had, a bread delivery man even at one time. There was, I don't know about you guys, but I forget the name of the company, Olson or one of them
Yeah,
would deliver bread if you wanted them to.
Yeah.
So, and now, do you guys remember when they moved the Legion from Mercer into town?
Oh, yes, I do.
that was a big deal.
That was kind of, did they really cut it in half to move it, or how did they do that? Do you?
I don't remember that, but I just remember that.
They said it was a dance hall out at Mercer.
Yeah.
At one
Yeah,
Across the road.
yeah, I remember that.
Was it?
It was on the south side.
Was you?
The drive-in.
You say, I remember that, and you smile.
I didn't dance, but I
Okay.
remember.
Remember it being out there, yeah. Paul Kimmel used to tell, he lived across from it, so
Yeah.
he knew all about it, but yeah, that was moved in. And then, the church that became Nazarene Church, the Angel House, that was moved from Wilshire, halfway to Wilshire. It was the United Brethren Church that got moved. Of course, that's not there today, but
No.
it was moved in.
And there was that house back of it. Did that church build that house? It's a rental there now.
There was,
Right back of that.
Yeah.
yes, that was moved, you're right, that was moved.
That was moved in there
And
too.
it might have been from there, maybe. I remember them talking about that. That was a moved house, because they even
Yeah.
turned it, I think they said. And our house was moved. Our house used to be on Main Street. Dugan's had a tennis court there, an empty
yeah.
lot.
Yep.
Remember that? Well, our house was moved from there to our lot.
My house used to sit out on 33. You know where, oh crap. Anyway, Bill Stober's
Yep.
grandson lives there now. Trey.
Okay, yeah.
My house sat in that field just west of his house.
Really? You're kidding me.
No, and I can still remember as a kid seeing that great big house coming down the
Yep.
street.
Oh.
That's a
Yeah.
big deal when they did it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did do it a
Moved
lot.
lot.
Didn't they? They moved. It's amazing how much they moved.
Didn't have any cranes or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back in the day, the parents would say, hey kids, we're gonna move to town.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they moved the whole damn house.
That's the way it was, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was in 1955
Okay.
Wow.
that they moved my house. in
How
there.
about that? Our houses, I think, moved before that time, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure Grant might have had something to do with that, Freisinger. I don't know. He actually had a model, we have a picture, he took a Model T and converted it to a chicken house. And we have a picture of that, but he also sold ice. You remember his ice house?
Yeah.
that he had?
Yeah.
Who?
Grant
Yeah, ice house.
Freisinger?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Delivered ice all over town.
yeah.
Yep.
And during the war years, we have a newspaper article, they actually divvied out tires to only certain people because of rubber shortage.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of them because he delivered scrap and he delivered ice. So he was one of them that was listed, believe it or not.
So would that have been from the river then?
Well,
Maybe.
now here's what Don Ponsler told me. He said he remembered him going to Van Wert, Brad,
Oh.
and getting ice and hauling it in his truck.
Yeah.
And that's what he said.
Yeah.
Now, some people said they remembered it like where our cellar's at.
Mm.
They kind of remember sawdust being down there and him taking it down that cellar. But other people said no, it's across our driveway. There's a
Yeah,
spot
it was
out
actually,
there.
the ice house out towards the road is actually west of your driveway.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. That's what everybody said.
Mm.
That's
Barn
what I
was back.
remember.
Yeah, yeah, that's what everybody said. That's where it was at.
He
So.
junked a few cars in there. There'll be glass back there 50 feet deep.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. You metal detect that yard, and
Oh.
it just beep 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 beep. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of glass with it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. But I haven't found any treasures yet.
No,
No, but I have found a lot of old stuff. So the doctors that were here in town, Dr. Aub, now he was here. Now, Norm, did you know aware of Dr. Aub? Did you go to him or something one
Yeah,
time?
was he above the old library?
Yes,
yeah, I went to
Bank
him.
building?
bank building. Yeah.
My dad did. yeah.
Okay, I thought you said that one time.
Yeah.
And Dr. Aub was,
What was the name of the banker?
well,
You sure you mean?
Disher.
Orville
Disher?
Orville
Yeah,
Disher.
yeah,
Disher,
that's who it
yeah,
was,
Disher.
And
yeah.
he lived in Norm's old place, didn't he, Norm, for a while?
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah. Because there's a story, whether it's true or not, that some guys owed him money in Lima or something. He had him come down and do some, wiring and work for him or something like that. Norm, you ever heard that story? I don't know who told me that. Maybe Don Ponster told me that. Somebody told me that, yeah, they couldn't afford to pay him back, so he brought him in here and made him do work or something.
Could be, I don't know.
And then there was a family in that house, was it Smith family, that would take their bicycles at the top of the stairway,
They had
ride
two-
it down the stairway, and had the doors open. They'd ride out through those front doors,
My gosh.
on the porch, down the stairway, off the porch, out to the street. Now, isn't that what they said?
Yeah, Smith
Oh,
family.
be
Yeah,
darned.
said that. I
There was a
can't.
Smith-
Can you
I was trying to
imagine?
think what years it
No,
was. I remember that family.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know them, no.
They weren't from here.
I'd like to see them.
Oh, yeah. That made me a little nervous, I think, doing that. Then we were talking beforehand about 1960, the Rockford Merchants played Kansas City Monarchs. It was a team from the Negro League. And I don't know if you guys remember that, or even the park out there. Remember the park that was
Oh,
out there?
yeah. I remember the game,
Do you? Wallet Park.
but I can't
Yeah.
remember it. What was it called?
But no, you know what? I don't think that was played at Wallet Park. Somebody said they remember it being played up the high school diamond.
Yeah, it was played up here.
At the high
That
school
one.
diamond, okay.
But we used to go out there.
Yeah. Used
Did
to
you
go out
Wallet
there.
Park?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where was it played at?
the high school diamond, high school.
Okay.
field. And of course, Norm, we've discussed this before. A lot of people don't realize Rockford had the first airport.
I
Yeah.
remember that,
And-
yeah.
You want to tell people where that was located? The first airport?
Well, if you know where the ball diamond is out there now, they're
You mean here in town?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
about where the first base dugout is where they had the planes parked and so forth. Yeah.
I
And
remember that.
our football field, they said at one time, actually ran east and west rather than north and south.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys remember
Yeah.
that, or
No,
I
but
don't remember seeing it
remem-
either.
heard
I
that.
remember that.
you don't remember that either, so it must have been before you guys played, but that's what they
yeah,
said at one
I'm
time.
not sure when they switched it.
Made me think of it when we looked out
you-
towards that way.
You were talking about an airport, but I hardly ever remember anybody talking about our first airplane crash we had in Rockford. And that happened
Was that
back
one,
there.
this one here?
That
No,
was-
no,
That was out in the Schumm farm where it
yeah, that's
crashed.
where that was at.
Yeah.
The one I'm talking about was where the old church camp was, which is James Park.
Yeah,
right now.
sure.
Oh,
Well, what happened, one of those ministers that ran that also flew. He had a little two-place Piper Cub. Well, on Friday night, he was taking people rides, and they had the strip right there, which ran to the east, right there back of the houses. So anyhow, it rained that night. The next morning, it got a little soft. Well, he couldn't get it off the ground. He had some wires. He wanted to get underneath the wires. He thought, well, I'll just go underneath the wires and then go up. Well, there was weeds about that high, but what he didn't know, that was dirt that high.
Oh.
And he run right off the end of that, right off the end of the runway, just ripped the bottom right out of his plane.
I'll be
They were
darned.
sitting in there.
Goodness.
I never hear anybody ever say anything about that.
Never got hurt.
No.
That's just like this one, nobody got hurt, did they, Norm, with this crash that we're talking about?
Yeah, they didn't really get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, it's surprising that no one got injured with that one either.
Yeah.
Speak-
They had left the airport out here, heading west, northwest, really, and where Velma Schumm lived.
Yeah.
As they headed north, they caught the light wires or whatever, took them down, actually took the the lightning rods off the top of the barn,
Oh,
hit the top of the silo on the north end of the barn and went
yeah,
just down like
And
that.
survived.
that's where that prop came from. Was
Yeah, that prop
that's the
came
same
from-
prop.
And,
Supposedly,
and I think that there's busted goggles there, isn't that right, Norm?
yeah,
Busted goggles there,
Yeah, mhm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they are from Rager. That was his airplane.
When you were talking about airplanes and airports, whatever, somebody posted pictures of the log cabin down there, and I don't know who it was, they commented the other day, and they said that, back in the day, it was Orville and Wilbur Wright's grandfather,
Yes,
came up here.
I
to
read that.
church camp.
yeah,
Is that right?
yeah.
We darn.
Did you see that?
I saw that too, Brad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I did read that.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Orville who?
Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers.
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, another question, I want to address this with you. There was a lady who sent us some stuff, but you guys remember Skinny Laurel's place out there?
Oh,
Lauren
yeah.
Laurel? And do you remember, they said he had a whalebone bench, is that correct?
They had whalebones out the front, and they had some rocks in there with it, not right along with 33 there. And they lived there about, well, where Steve Henkle had that house in there.
Okay,
He was there, and he had a bicycle shop there for years.
That's right, that's
Yeah.
what I was just
Bicycle too,
wondering.
that
That
was
was the
bicycle
same
shop.
place.
Okay.
That's what he did there mostly.
I
yeah.
bought 2 bicycles there. I
Oh,
know
did
that. Yeah.
I used to go out there and work on bikes sometimes with him.
He
Okay,
fixed
He
mine.
was quite but his tombstone is out here in the cemetery out here.
okay.
Lauren Laura. If you check out there, I was talking to Mike Riley a little bit about that, and I think those are all cataloged. So you could probably find his stone out there. His stone would be located on the east side of the cemetery, if I remember right.
Okay,
And probably houses in there, or maybe bodies buried over that area now, but anyhow, his stone's there. It would probably show he and his wife, and they had a daughter that was crippled.
Yeah,
I can't remember what her name was.
okay.
I can't either, but I remember her also.
We've had information come to us, and we've done some research too, but there was a Charles Roebuck who supposedly managed, and it said, was it the Majestic, or was it the Princess Theater, wasn't it?
Princess Theater.
And this lady's daughter bought a house in Paulding, Ohio, and they found this stuff in the attic. And it's talking about Charles Roebuck. And so she contacted us, said, hey, the house was built in 1901, I think she said. We would wonder if you would be interested in this information. So I go do research on Charles Roebuck, and sure enough, he actually ran this thing. Well, he went to Paulding to be a telegraph operator, not telephone, but telegraph operator in the early 1900s. So, it's amazing how many people start looking at your website saying, hey, I got some information for you. And so when I got to Roebuck, I had to do research on Roebuck. And Marlene, I know I told you this. But believe it or not, one of the first settlers, matter of fact, maybe the first white settler in Dublin Township was Rule Roebuck. And he had a son named George, and George had a son named Samuel. Samuel moved to Lafayette, Indiana. He had a son named Alva who was very interested in watchmaking. And at the age of 22 started to work for Benjamin Sears. And sure enough, they started Sears and Roebuck, and that's Rockford's link to the Sears and Roebuck Company. And we have a picture. was it 1909, Norm, I think's on the picture?
Something like
Of
that, yeah.
Alva Roebuck at the Roebuck reunion out here outside of town, the Roebuck Farm. So we found that to be interesting. And then as I did more research, we found out that Benjamin Sears grew up in Minnesota and supposedly, according to this one article I read, was a good friend to Almanzo Wilder. Now you might know who's you ever heard of Laura Ingalls Wilder, Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah,
Well, that was her husband.
I'll be darned.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So, you know, if that's all true, that's what was in the article
Oh,
I
yeah.
read. So it seemed like the more you read, the more you find out.
Yeah.
You know, just listen to you folks. Out